Please raise your hands. Can you get up? This will be a very important part of our seminar, because you will see this simple act of raising your hands can bring an amazing change in your life, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, and physically. Thank you. So, our movement has been preaching for 40 years, isn't it? About 40 years. And many people have come, but also many people have gone. So we don't want to lose people anymore. We want people who come to stay, and for this we need a place where they can come and like it. We need a caring environment, a caring community. Some people have left us because they felt that we don't care enough. So we want to change that, and we want to make a conscious effort to create a caring community. And this course is meant to inspire and educate devotees about caring communities. Important part of caring communities is devotee care and guidance system. And this is a structured way of associating with devotees. I will mention few examples of caring communities in ISKCON that exist already, like in Chowpatty, Mumbai. For many years now, they have a large community and a very successful community. This program had been started also in Croatia, recently in Zagreb, Croatia, in Split, Croatia, in Ljubljana, Slovenia. In Ukraine, Kiev, also it's functioning quite well under the inspiration and instigation of Niranjan Swami. So there is more, probably, maybe some that I'm not aware of, but these are some of the examples where it's already going on, it's already developing, and people are already seeing some benefits. Of course, benefits are amazing of establishing such a system. So this is our plan for the presentation. We will look at some Shastric evidence why we should build a community. We will speak about some principles of community building. We will explore the structure of the system, look at some challenges, and I just mentioned some role models. And we will go quicker than usual because we have less time. We will also have some demonstrations, exercises. It will be interactive also. I will ask you questions. When I was in Italy, there was a screen, and I was always pointing the screen, and the laptop was near the screen, and I have to get accustomed to this. So we want to start with the DVD to show you of Mauritius. Mauritius is an example of a multicultural society which is working together.
So just stop it.
So to push this a little bit. This is not Mauritius. Find Mauritius.
Oh.
And we need also good sounds, loud sounds.
In 1638,
first settlement on Mauritius. They later abandoned the island and the French claimed it in 1715. Slaves were imported from Africa to clear away lava rock in the fields so that sugarcane could be planted. In 1810, the British attacked Mauritius and took it from the French. Slavery was abolished and workers came from India. Muslim and Chinese merchants soon followed. In 1968, Mauritius achieved its independence and became a republic. Its population now consists of Indians, Chinese, Franco-Mauritians, Britons, and Creoles, who are descendants of white colonists and slaves from Madagascar. The dominant religions of this small island of 788 square miles are Hinduism, Islam, Buddhism, and Christianity. Mauritius is overcrowded and virtually without natural resources. Its social fabric is fragile. Since 1952, the population of Mauritius has doubled to 1.2 million. Stresses upon Mauritian family life are being felt as never before. Mauritius is confronted with balancing the demands of a complex and increasingly urban society with its cultural, ethnic, and religious traditions. For centuries, Mauritius has been at the crossroads of the trade routes of the Indian Ocean. It is now at the crossroads of becoming part of the industrialized world.
Who was the previous cardinal in Mauritius, made a very nice statement which I think described very well. He says that we should consider each group, racial or cultural, as a fruit, an apple, a pear, a mango, and we want to make Mauritius not a marmalade where we mix up everything and grind everything and we have one marmalade with one, I don't know what taste. But we would like to have a fruit salad, where in a fruit salad, each one retains its individual flavor and taste.
We just recognize the right of everyone to be different, and that we live with these differences, and sometimes we find them to be a source of enrichment.
Do not forget that this island is the same as it was in the 16th, 17th century, far away, outside the main carets of developed countries and nations, which means that for the survival of the country, you have to give the very best of yourself. And this is ingrained in us, in every Mauritian.
It's not just the work of one ethnic group or one culture. I think it's because of the mixture of different groups, different cultures in Mauritius that lead to the success, to the miracle of the country.
For quite some time, people have been talking of Mauritius as being an example of peaceful coexistence. To my mind, this is by now outdated. I believe more in terms of an active interaction between the different communities that live in this country.
I have a very Anglo-Saxon upbringing, and which I think is also very American. And we have a confrontational system in the West. Two ideas confront, they fight it out, and the best one wins. Now, what I've learned here, where the majority of the population is Asiatic, now the Asiatics have a completely different way of looking at life. Their way of looking at it is you look at what your opponent, what his position is, and you try to get as close to his position as possible.
Because there are so many different cultures and communities around, we are used to listen to the others. We have to take care of the others, their opinions, and we readily accept them. I mean, the idea is to try and get a little bit of everything and to find in an end result, a better end result than the others.
Let's look at school children, for instance. When they go to school in any village or town, they walk by the sides of someone who doesn't look like them. This is why we not only come to know each other within this country, but we know also quite well a diversified culture representing the world over.
In Mauritius, I think, after all this struggle that we have gone through, we have been able to understand that there's nothing better than understanding, helping, sharing, and giving a hand to anybody who is next to you.
I think the women who work in the sugarcane fields have preserved this tradition. For example, the Creole lady who would not hesitate at all to help the Hindi lady to complete her task. And it's something extraordinary which I love.
Our senior management is drawn from a number of the different ethnic communities of Mauritius. Now, we believe that that's a strength. The fact we do come from different backgrounds means that when a question is asked, we don't all give the same answer, and therefore you have a number of different aspects of the question.
It's formidable to see how we can rub shoulders with each other and show a sense of solidarity, which is remarkable. We know that we are all Mauritian people and that we share, whether we want it or not, we share the same fate.
If I were to wake up in the morning and one of the components of the Mauritian community had disappeared, for me it would be completely disastrous. I can't live without the Chinese, the Muslims, the Hindus, the Creoles, the Franco-Mauritians. For me, they make my humanity, and for me, I will be lame. I'm lucky enough to have a congregation where I meet the great cultures of the world every day. Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam, and Christianism. 2,000 of my parishioners are Chinese, so I use this very regularly. You see, I'm asked very often in colleges, in factories, to say masses where most of the congregation is not Christian, or Muslim and Hindus. So I call it my East and West. For me, it's a way of bringing together the East and the West, so important for our world today.
There is no religion of the world that preaches anything contrary to love, to universal brotherhood, to tolerance.
I feel, these are human values which we should preserve, which should persist. And you don't see these kinds of things in other working environments, where people are becoming so egocentric.
Any community, any race, any religion is nothing, but it's what comes from your heart.
It comes from the heart, and people feel it, our guests feel it. The famous Mauritian smile that we talk about all the time, I think that's why people come back.
I think we have developed over the years the ability to look at the other with the heart. I'm just being a bit poetic, but that's how it is. We have the capacity of looking beyond physical appearance and beyond ethnic differences. We just see the man or the woman. We see the Mauritian.
It takes a whole village to make a man. You can't grow up just in a small nucleus family and become somebody who can live in harmony with the society. In Mauritius, we have this village that can make the Mauritian somebody who can be in harmony with his brothers, with people around, and eventually with the world.
Mauritius is an island, and somehow we have the tendency to believe that each man is an island. But I don't look at it from the negative point of view. I believe that the island that we are in the midst of the ocean has the possibility of receiving the currents coming from all corners of the world. Like Mahatma Gandhi once said, we open the doors and the windows and allow all the currents to come in, but we try to stay on our feet.
Do you have a pen? A better pen? This one is a bit dry. Where's the lid? No, for now. So Srila Prabhupada has spoken about the principle of union by the way you cooperate. So he, at the end of his life, he stressed cooperation among devotees. And this is a big challenge. It's not easy to cooperate. People think differently and they come from different cultures. Srila Prabhupada also mentioned when you put matches together, they are unbreakable. But if you take one by one, they are all breakable. And Bhaktivedanta Swami was speaking about a loving coalition, and I call it collective care. Like this gentleman mentioned that he mentioned it takes a village to raise a man. So we want to develop, we want to develop such a culture that not we have only one person who cares about you, but many people. Many people, so that if this person dies or something happens, then there is more other people who can take care of you. So I really need. It goes forward but not backward. This doesn't go back, and sometimes it goes forward on its own. So.
Maybe on the machine itself.
Huh?
On the machine.
Otherwise, I can also assist you with
Oh, now it works. As soon as you came, it worked. That's amazing. Out of 7 purposes of ISKCON, 2 speak about bringing the members of the society together. So the third one is to bring the members of the society together with each other and nearer to Krishna, the prime entity, thus to develop the idea within the members and humanity at large that each soul is part and parcel of the quality of Godhead, Krishna. And number 6, to bring the members closer together for the purpose of teaching a simpler and more natural way of life. So Srila Prabhupada really wanted devotees to actually care for each other and to work together and to live together and to be a loving community. And you have to do it yourself manually. think it's not working. Huh? That's the next one. This is the next one. In the introduction to Science of Self-Realization, Mukunda Maharaj says, Srila Prabhupada was first and foremost someone who truly cared, who completely sacrificed his life for the benefit of others, to work for the good of others. Okay, next one.
Respect, but not.
Would it be good if you just click on the left hand side, if you that view, but then you have to make them smaller here so that we see the whole slide. But then by clicking, you can control it maybe easier with the how you call it, with the mouse.
Or maybe restarting the computer.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe restart the computer. Maybe you got.
No, I still can't see.
Should I restart the computer?
Yeah. So, in this section we are looking at different Shastric examples, and I will tell you a few before we go back to the slides that are on the slides. Prachetas in the 4th canto were chanting the song given to them by Lord Shiva, and Vishnu was so satisfied that he came on Garuda and he said, I'm so pleased by your friendly relationships that I am ready to give you any benediction. And in the purport to that verse, Srila Prabhupada speaks about unity and diversity, speaks about sometimes there are differences, but ultimately everybody wants to please Krishna, everybody wants to serve Krishna, so we should respect that. Then there are a few quotes where Srila Prabhupada speaks about helping each other in preaching, helping each other follow the instructions of the spiritual master. And this seminar, the subtitle of this seminar before was helping each other succeed. So if we think, how can we help each other succeed, or thinking individually, how can I help this devotee succeed, how can I help that devotee succeed in all areas of his or her life, then the whole culture will change. And in the purport to the 16th verse of the 17th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada says that the mind should be trained to always think of the welfare of others. This verse mentions austerities of the mind and the mode of goodness, and he says that one way to focus the mind and to control the mind is to focus it on thinking of the welfare of others. One of the symptoms of maturity in devotional service is that you start to become selfless. You are not selfish anymore. You just don't think about yourself, but you think of others. But the mystical thing is that as you start to think of others and serve others, you get benefited the most. One of the most selfish things that you can do is to become selfless. Because if you become selfless, then you benefit the most. And you don't know if other people will benefit from your selflessness, because you don't know how they will accept it, how they will understand it, how they will use it. But you can know for sure that you are going to benefit. Krishna will be pleased. Maybe I can do something. Maybe don't play with this, just depend on you. Just depend on you, you can do. Narada Muni explains, this is in the purport, but the purport based on the Narada statement. how to develop relationships. Can you read, please?
The whole thing?
Yeah.
Generally, when we find someone more qualified than ourselves, we become envious of him. When we find someone less qualified, we deride him. And when we find someone equal, we become very proud of our activities. These are the causes of all material tribulations. The great sage Narada therefore advised that the devotee should act perfectly. Instead of being envious of a more qualified man, one should be jolly to receive him. Instead of being oppressive to a less qualified man, one should be compassionate toward him just to raise him to the proper standard. And when one meets an equal, instead of being proud of one's own activities before him, one should treat him as a friend. One should also have compassion for the people in general who are suffering due to forgetfulness of Krishna. These important functions will make one happy within this material world.
So usually the way we feel depends a lot depends on relationships that we have with people. And here Srila Prabhupada explains Narada's instructions. He gives very clear instructions how to relate to people. And if one sees oneself as a servant of everyone, then most of your relationship problems will go away. Now you may say, well, I tried that already and it didn't work. I became too humble. I was always ready to help others, serve others. People started to exploit me. People started to take advantage of it. So this doesn't mean becoming a victim. Becoming humble doesn't mean becoming a victim. Becoming a servant doesn't mean becoming a victim. But always being understanding. I'm a servant of this person, how can I serve this person? If this person tries to take advantage, tries to misuse this, then you can do something else. You can, let's say you can show some boundaries that what they can do with you or what they cannot do with you or what you can do for them, etc., etc. So in the community, we deal with different relationships, and in the scriptures there is many instructions how to deal with different kinds of people. Actually, I think that one of the most important aspects of the education of a devotee is that he learns to deal with anyone. I'm planning to make a seminar called How to Deal with Anyone. And it will not be a seminar where I will deliver a great wisdom, but this will be an interactive seminar where people will bring up different challenges, and then we will discuss together what is the most Krishna conscious way to deal with anyone, or whatever example you will mention. Niranjan Swami has a book called Taking Care of Krishna's Devotees. This is based on his classes, and he speaks about a spiritual guide. In Mumbai they call him counselor. In London we call him Shiksha Guru, but we cancelled that. Now they call him the counselor. But on the European level, at the European leaders meeting, we agreed to call this mentor or guide spiritual guide. Some senior devotees didn't like coach, mentor, counselor, but they liked spiritual guide, and they proposed Shiksha Guru, but most of us said no, this is too heavy. Shiksha Guru. So he says, once we see that somebody is willing to make a sacrifice for me, that in itself gives us some shelter. Because we think, oh, this person is actually thinking of me, thinking of my man. So one day in your life, you will have to start to think of others. But in a very intelligent and intentional way. You may say, I'm already thinking of others and I'm fed up with this. I don't want to think of others anymore. Our duty is to take care of ourselves, but then when we are really taking care of what are we going to do, we are going to enjoy it. No, we are going to give a contribution. We are going to serve others. So in the community there must be some people who are ready to sacrifice, who are ready to put their interest, self-interest second. This doesn't mean neglecting yourself, your basic needs. You have to take care of yourself in every way, but we want to give. This one works? You're doing it remotely? But from there. Now, Gopal Bhatta Prabhu is a Prabhupada disciple. He runs a big company. He went to Mumbai to Prabhupada to see how they are doing it. And he concluded that why this system is successful is that they love each other. They like each other. So, he said, it's obvious that even I can see it. And it's not pretentious, it's genuine, the relationship between guides. So people come to our movement and then see that we don't like each other, we don't take care of each other, then most of them would not like to stay. I have even people saying some extreme things. They say, I don't want to join because if I join your movement, you are going to treat me as you treat your members, and this is not good. But as long as I'm a guest, you treat me very nicely. Okay, next. Prachetas we discussed, yes? More? Manual is also good. Try manual. Prachetas. It doesn't want to go further. Oh, goodness. You know what you can do? A trick maybe. Show this view with the slides on the left hand side. Then you can enlarge them and just enlarge this side as much as you can, and then we can have them try it with clicking.
Not big enough to see anything.
But can you push this as in Windows? No?
No.
Bogus. What's his name?
Macintosh.
Jobs? Steve Jobs?
Let's go to the next one.
Try another laptop maybe.
Well, if I have my glasses, I will be able to see. Where's my glasses? Oh, here. Tomorrow we can bring my laptop. Okay. Oh, Jai, that's the thing. Okay, so we will look now in some principles of the caring community. Sarve Sukhino Bhavantu, Srila Prabhupada said the duty of a leader is to make everyone happy. So we want to create many spiritual guides who will intentionally try to make devotees happy in every way. Rupa Goswami mentions, Srila Rupa Goswami mentions 6 loving exchanges, which are? Can you say it again loudly?
And in English, please.
He will translate first Sanskrit. Which means? You know in German. You can say it in German.
One should, like it's mostly, one should give prasad, offer prasad to others, accept prasad, offer gifts, accept gifts, open yourself to others, reveal one's confidence and inquire confidentially.
Inquire confidentially. So these are 6 loving exchanges. Doing good to others we already mentioned. Prahlad Maharaj says in the Bhagavatam, may all living entities become calm by practicing bhakti yoga, for by accepting devotional service they will think of each other's welfare. So this is the key for the community building. Think of each other's welfare. Now would you believe me if I say that if you are in need of something the most, you should start giving it? What do you think? Let's say you have no money. And I tell you, well, if you don't have money, start giving money. So how can I give money? I don't have any money. Whatever you have, you can give half of it. Start giving charity. There was a sannyasi who came to a door of a householder, and sometimes these beggars are cheaters. So sometimes householders, they think they just want to cheat. So the lady opened the door, and he said, "Can I get something?" And she asked her husband, and he said, "No. You can only give him some ashes." When she came, she said, "Well, we can only give you some ashes." He said, "Yes, give me some ashes." And she brought him, she said, "What are you going to do with this?" He said, "I'm not going to do anything with this, but I'm just teaching you to start giving." Giving something. Start with your charity. So I forgot why I said this story.
Because if you need something, the most.
Oh, but you need something, you should start giving it. In Africa, there is this. There is always some wars, and then people are refugees. They go to other countries, and sometimes they are very poor. They have nothing. They have just a bag. But previous refugees, people who have ran away from the same country, maybe, or other countries, they're also very poor. And sometimes they accept families. They have one room, like 5-6 people in one room, and they accept another 5-6 people and share this very little that they have, and they all survive. Imagine you have nothing and you share half of it, almost nothing. So the principle of giving is God's law. But we have to practice. We are not accustomed, because we are so selfish. We are not accustomed to giving, thinking, how can I give today? We're thinking, how can I get today in the Western society? How can I earn today? But if you think, how can I give, then your whole life can change very, very dramatically. I asked one devotee, my friend from England, how can we promote coaching in the most powerful way? And he said, because in marketing, when you have people don't want to have risk in marketing, when they want to buy something. So perfect marketing means no risk or low risk. You get this product, if you don't like it, you can return it. Low risk when you're buying deals, when you have a deal. So he said, let's offer people that we will pay them to coach them. Imagine, pay them to coach them, provided they will do something good to somebody else, or maybe they coach somebody else. So I was thinking for a few years, how can I do this? Because I don't have much money. And in Italy, I had my first client. I paid him for coaching. It's a devotee. And I thought, this is really exciting. Devotee first, he didn't want to accept. I said, please be my first client, whom I will pay for coaching. So maybe you have heard that I'm offering to devotees here coaching sessions, but I didn't establish this policy for Switzerland yet. You may say, oh, this is a good idea. No, I'm joking, I might pay. You can test me. But what's the point? The point is that God is Bhagavan. If you're giving, there is no way you're going to remain poor. If I give everything, then I will have nothing. This is a material calculation. Spiritual calculation, if I give everything, I will have 10 times more. Do you believe that? A little bit? Somebody? So thinking of each other's welfare, we can start small. Devotees sometimes say, how can I think of the welfare of a devotee I don't like? I say start with those who you like. That's easy. Then we can work further on, giving to those who are thinking of you don't like. Start where you can. So, in the community, if people start giving, then people will start getting. There is a saying, the more you give, the more you get. And I extended it. The more you give, the more you get, so you can give even more. Because why should you get? It's the purpose of giving is not just to get, but also that you can give more. So it developed this culture of giving in the community. That this can help. Training is care. Adi Purusha Prabhu taught me this principle. He is coming to you soon, isn't it? So there is a non-vegetarian example, but I can turn it into a vegetarian. Maybe you heard it about it. Give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. This is give a man a bread, you feed him for a day. Teach him how to make bread, you feed him for a lifetime. So the best help you can provide for people is to help them help themselves. Your people become dependent on you. You may feel good that you are a savior for some time, but actually, if you have 5-10 dependents, you become drained and you can't help anyone. You end up in the hospital or a mental hospital. So, one symptom of care is actually providing training or coaching, providing people with tools, helping them become self-reliant. Prabhupada said, God helps those who help themselves. So, this is one of the principles. Responsible communication in the community. If I text you or phone you, please respond. If I email you, please say, I don't want any emails from you. And then I will not email you anymore. But don't ignore my email. Not only mine, I'm just speaking in general. Responsible communication. Yeah. I have experience in Krishna consciousness in my life. When I try to communicate with the devotee, he never responds to my emails. His phone is always off. When he's with me, he's always on the mobile phone in an email. So how is this possible? Is this every day like this? You're always an email, but you don't respond to my email. Why is this? You don't like me or something? Reliability, when you promise that you will do something, then do it, or say I'm not going to be able to do it. Making and keeping promises builds trust, and not doing it decreases trust. Okay. Next. Mutual support, mutual accountability, taking initiative, mutual benefit, seeking first to understand. There are so many principles, we don't have time to go through all of them. These are very powerful principles. Clarity of purpose of the community, helping everyone establish themselves in their varna and ashrama. And now I will jump over all of these and speak about something that was raised by one Pujari in Italy. What is the difference between being sentimental and caring? You tell me. Yes?
Caring means acting.
Caring means acting. And sentimental means what?
Just mind, just feelings, momentum, I don't know.
Okay.
No action.
No action, okay. More? When you are really caring and when you are sentimental, yes?
Sentimental is might be wallowing with a person in the problem, and caring might be to show way out.
Okay. Yes?
I think caring is something lasting, sentimental is something at the moment.
So sometimes you are caring and sometimes you are not.
Caring could be something lasting, sentimental is a moment most of the time.
I'm not sure I understand.
Sentimental is more an emotion. Caring, that's what he said, it's an acting process and it's a lasting thing.
Okay. Or sentimental is like a temporary emotion, something like that. Okay. It comes and goes, but care is something that is constant. Oh, very nice. This is good. Anything else?
I think sentimental, it's there's a distance, and caring, there's no distance between.
Can you explain this a little bit?
With the sentimental, there exists a distance, so there's much freedom for the other person. When you're caring for somebody, then there's no distance. You do without to think.
Do you understand this?
I do.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I mean, she's saying caring brings you close to the other person, where you're actually doing something. Sentiment keeps some distance between the two.
There is no real closeness. Okay.
Is that right?
Good. Thank you. Anybody else? Sentimental and caring?
Could it be that sentimental, you do what you think is good to do because you feel. So maybe you don't do what really is necessary to do. You do by your own thinking, this is good for this person. And caring, you involve yourself, you analyze what this person really needs, and then you act.
Or to take that even a step further, act by finding out what the other person needs, saying what is your actual need, and then acting.
Yeah, that's what I was speaking, that you analyze the situation and then you see it.
Yeah.
And then after.
Okay, these are very nice. So, there is body, mind, and soul. So what we were discussing in Italy is that if you care only for the body and the mind, that's sentimental. But if you care for the body, mind, and the soul, that's caring. Does this make sense? So we provide holistic care, and it means the whole existence. If you tell me, oh, I don't like how I look like. There is one devotee I know has a very bad karma. This means like the appearance is very like, not very nice because of the previous activities. So sometimes this devotee is very, very unhappy, depressed. Oh, nobody wants me, nobody will marry me, like this. And I said, imagine you have a super attractive body, how much more you will be admired. It's a good point. You are lucky. You are lucky. Of course, the person has to be ready to hear this. You can't just throw it at them. And you are a soul, and you have a form which is much more beautiful, but it has to come up by chanting. And also, and fanaticism is just the soul. But you know, like ignore the body and the mind. We have done this for 30 years, 25 years. Yes.
On the board you have this creative cooperation. Since we were talking about cooperation, maybe you could say something
about creative cooperation.
Yeah, what does that mean, third alternative?
Okay.
Sorry?
Just asking about this fourth from the bottom.
This point. Okay, I will. I just want to. Yeah, if you're interested in specifically any of these points, I can explain briefly. But we want to wrap up this. So, does this make sense? If you take care of the soul, this means you also take care of this person's relationship with Krishna, which is the highest care. So we want to take care of devotees holistically in every possible way. That's not sentimental. This is complete care. Creative cooperation, third alternative. I believe you know this. It's that 1 + 1 = 3. Husband plus wife equals 3 if they work on it. They make a job. In the nature there is the principle of synergy, sometimes symbiosis, but when two people come together, immediately there is an added value just because they came together. So the how you say the how you say is greater than the sum of its parts. What is greater than the sum of its parts? The whole. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So you have an idea, I have an idea. Let's discuss, let's understand each other, let's discuss, let's listen to each other, and find a solution that is better than any of us proposed originally. The third alternative. The lowest form of the third alternative is a compromise. It's here. But the third alternative is here. So we discuss. Like, let's say, you say it's cold. I say I'm suffocating. So we have to find a win-win solution. How can we resolve this? So there is many ways. What would you suggest? If it would be cold, really.
Well, I could move over there, I could put on each other.
And I can move over there and I will breathe. We can put on each other. We can get a fan. We can open the top windows, then it blows less. Or we can open these windows. There is so many ideas if we are ready to communicate to find a solution, to find the third alternative. And sometimes when people are respectful and they are ready to communicate until they get a solution, they take time, you find amazing ideas, amazing solutions that you are amazed. This is amazing, this works like anything. When you are with, but people always fight and compete. And this is not good for the community. So of course there is much more that we can learn how to build a community about these principles, but we don't have, this is a presentation that is shortened, and even in 10 hours it's not enough. But I'm just starting with these courses, and they will be developed and enlarged. And actually, ISKCON's GBC Devotee Care Committee, they're planning to create a whole course about caring. I don't know how long it will be, but it will be. They will start to teach it all over the world, and we will probably get somebody who will come and teach you. But I'm teaching certain things. Next, please. Could you read this, please?
While the men were meeting in that way, the women were also meeting on one another in the same manner. They were embracing each other in great friendship, smiling very mildly and looking at one another with much affection. When they were embracing each other in their arms, the saffron and kumkuma spread on their breasts was exchanged from one person to another, and they all felt heavenly ecstasy. Due to such heart-to-heart embracing, torrents of tears glided down their cheeks. The juniors were offering obeisance to the elders, and the elders were offering their blessings to the juniors. They were thus welcoming one another and asking after each other's welfare. Ultimately, however, all their talk was only of Krishna. All the neighbors and relatives were connected with Lord Krishna's pastime in this world, and as such, Krishna was the center of all their activities, whatever activities they performed, social, political, religious, or...
Well, on the windows you can see the whole thing, but here... I don't know. Can you look a little bit down there? Or maybe make the... Try to push this, yeah.
Devotional were transcendental, revolt.
Anybody knows where this is from?
Meeting at Kurukshetra.
No. Krishna book?
Dwarka.
Krishna and Balaram meets the inhabitants of Vrindavan. This is really a spiritual community. So much love between devotees, but Krishna is in the center. So this is what we can strive for, to develop. Next, please. What time is it now?
We will have another 20 minutes.
Okay, so we will start with this. But before this, what we want to develop. Develop when we build communities. We want to try to develop a common vision. What kind of community we want, and this can only come from you. I cannot impose on you the vision. But of course, this common vision or definition of how we want community to be should be based on the scriptures and on Krishna consciousness, Krishna consciousness principle. Because it will ensure its success if we act according to God's laws. Can you please get up and close your eyes? Think about, close your eyes please, think about where is north and point north.
I don't know where is north.
Yeah, don't look, just point north.
But what if you don't know where is north?
Then don't
I have
point
no idea.
anywhere.
Okay.
Just point north and keep on pointing. Some of you don't know where is north. Okay, so now keep pointing and open your eyes and look around the room. Look around the room and keep pointing. Okay? Okay, thank you.
Can we join?
Yes, of course. Anytime. But you need a chair in the back or something. Yeah. There is a space in the back.
Everybody's not pointing west. The sun is right there. It's setting. You can see the sun setting.
So when you, is there any other chair for anywhere? Yeah, bring. So you see, you have been pointing in different directions, but actually, where is the north doesn't depend on your opinion or your feelings. It depends on the compass. If I had a compass, I would know. I don't know where is north myself, but I would know where is north exactly. So similarly, we need a compass. We need a common direction if we want to have a very, very successful caring community. Like if some devotees say, well, we don't need a caring community because we are Swiss. We are already okay, like as we are. This is maybe for Italy, because in Italy everybody is sentimental. And they like to hug each other and to kiss each other. And I did experience this when I was there. A lot of hugging. But it's up to you what you want to do and what kind of relationships you want to have. But usually people have similar needs because they are human beings, they are also spiritual beings. And it cannot be much different, maybe little some details there. The way you express yourself, your love, may be a little bit different, but actually we all need love, we all need support. Now in the community, we have few things that are accomplished. Before I start to explain the system of the devotee care and guidance, which is a structured way of associating and helping each other succeed, the purpose of the community or intentionally built community is three things. One is support, another is guidance, and the third is challenge. Support, guidance, and challenge. So support means encouragement, readiness to help, being caring, holistic care. These are some aspects of the support. Guidance means you know how to guide people. You know, you are able to understand where they are and how they can make a next step. You listen to people very well, and then you are able to guide them from where they are to where they want to be. Challenge is important because if we don't stretch, we don't grow. If you don't stretch, you don't grow. Stretching in life is very important. We all have a need, we all have a tendency to do something and to go over our limits. If we stay where we are, we then start to sink. Stagnation lasts very briefly. So we always have to stretch. Therefore we need challenge. But we agree to be challenged. We agree to be challenged by someone who cares. In order to be able to challenge people, you must earn it by caring about them and by also knowing at least something from the scriptures, some basic things. People come and challenge people and then they get insulted because who are you to challenge me? Do you really care about me? Well, don't be sentimental. Well, I don't care. I don't want to listen for you. I don't care how much you know until I know how much you care. There is a saying. I don't care how much you know until I know how much you care. So why people listen to Srila Prabhupada? Because they were convinced he cares. He's interested in me, in my welfare. So we have to earn the right if you like to challenge people. And basically they have to give us a permission. Do you have any questions or comments so far?
I have one question. We had some meeting also, and then one devotee, he said exactly, I think you mentioned also, what you mentioned was when you have love for others, then you can serve them. And this devotee exactly mentioned this. He said, yeah, but I see my shortcoming, like if my mother calls me and asks me, can you do this for me? Yeah, I can easily do that because I love her, but if someone whom I don't love, so I don't have such feelings, and he asked me to do some service for him, to do something, I don't do it because I don't have love. So how can we work on that?
If you see everyone related to Krishna, then you can serve anyone, because you know that they are dear to Krishna. So because of the lack of Krishna conscious vision, or perception of Krishna consciousness, we make these differences. In the Gita it is stated that one sees equality of living beings in comparison to his own self. So he basically sees everyone as his own self. And he cares about everyone as his own self. So these differences come from the bodily conception of life. My mother, your mother is just in this lifetime. Maybe this person you're neglecting was your mother in a previous life, and you owe him, maybe he was her, owe him so much, but you don't know it, because you're in ignorance. You don't see Krishna in that person. You don't know what is your karma, like that. But if you find out, I sometimes feel I owe to people so much. People I have first time I see, and I start just feel pushed to serve them. And I serve them, and I give them money, I give them time, whatever, because I feel it. And sometimes the chart proves it. Astrological charts proves it. He said, yeah, he was doing this for you in the previous life. I don't even tell them. I don't even tell them what's happening, but somehow it gets proven. So we don't know who is who. And if we see Krishna in every relationship, these are parts and parcels of Krishna. So we have to raise our vision and perception to a higher level if we want to be more Krishna conscious and more successful and happy. And community means global community. Here you have a multicultural society in Switzerland, at least in Zurich. In London it's like this. More and more, many, at least big cities. So, like in London, what is good is that more and more people are seeing this equality, and we have to work together, we have similar problems. So there are sections of London where different communities live, but at the same time they mix. They mix at the job, they mix in the school. Sometimes schools are also sometimes like this, a little bit separate, but at the same time, many mix. So people have to understand we are human beings. So this requires spiritual maturity to see like that. Okay? Anything else? Actually, I don't want to go into this today. We will start tomorrow. We will just, by the end, until the end of this session, we will just, we can just discuss things. But I want to also mention a few benefits. Why you should make an effort to build a caring community. First of all, you don't have to do it. If you're happy like this, it's okay. But there is so many benefits. There is many benefits. And can you tell me what could be the benefit of building a caring community or more caring community if you already have a caring community? Yes?
I think when you are occupied with caring stuff, then you are apart from violence.
When you're occupied with the caring
Ideas and all
ideas,
these things,
you're
apart from violence.
excellent. You never think of violence, you think of doing good to others. Very nice. So violence is bad in 99% of the cases. Sometimes you have to use violence to protect, but that's one benefit more. What would be the benefit?
Maybe we should haven't any groupist mentality.
What?
Groupist mentality. You think I'm from this group or that group. I know more. This know less. Or this person. They are material. They are spiritual. This groupie mentality goes away. And at the same time, everybody's there are more united. Everybody.
More united.
Yeah. They think the welfare of everybody. And sometimes, for example, if somebody don't come to the temple, they will think, oh, why this person didn't come to the temple? Let's call them and ask why this happened. No speculate, oh, maybe this person is Maya, maybe this person with some material stuff. Yes, we'll finish this speculation and more, everybody will be more united and the groupies will finish as well.
I learned one amazing thing from Matsyavatar Prabhu. I mean, we know this, but we don't really know it very deeply. But he is so fixed in this that I was overwhelmed when I interviewed him. I just thought, my God, this really, I have to think about this day and night. He said, everybody is a person. Everybody is a different person. You cannot put anyone in the box. I said, oh, Krishna. I'm not putting anyone in the box anyway, sorry. But still, I don't see everyone as a... Everybody has to find his own way to Krishna. Somehow. There is a standard things that we do, but how you apply it for every individual. So in a community, in a caring community, you become highly personal. You don't judge. You try to help. One great formula for happiness and community building is help more, judge less. Forwards. Well, but somebody has to judge. Why it has to be you?
Yeah.
There will be people who will judge anyway. Don't worry, judging will be done. But helping, that will be lacking. But someone has to criticize. I like to criticize, I'm good at this. You are not the only one, there is a majority. But how many want to help? And not help in just a sentimental way. Oh, I want to help you. How to help me? I want to give you a coat. But my soul is freezing in ignorance. So I need knowledge, I don't need a coat. Give me some knowledge. Yesterday, I was driving, two devotees drove me to the airport, and they say, Prabhu, you're very positive. and you just see good in us, and why don't you tell us what you really think? What we need to change? Something like that. Very, very sincere question. And I said, you want to hear? And so they said, yes. And I said, well, I already told you this, but you probably didn't hear it. If you don't change, you're going to suffer. If you remain where you are, you're going to suffer more and more. They were quiet. So, this is an example where people ask for judgment. But they seem to be convinced that I'm not a threat for them. That I'm not going to harm them in any way. So judgment is not necessarily bad. So now judgment becomes help because they asked for it. It's completely different. And we don't even say, well, we have to correct things here. It's not according to Prabhupada's instructions. We have to squeak and squeeze and turn everything, and then everybody has to say, yes, jawohl! And surrender. And then we will have a perfect community with perfect artificial smiling. But we are not machines. We are not machines. So also very important is free will. Everybody has a free will. You cannot force anyone. I cannot force you to love me. You cannot force me to love you. It's voluntary. I cannot force you to love any community member. I'm telling you, love every community member. You can't say, how can I serve you? 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 But you can say, well, out of 5 people that you suggested, 4 I don't like. And this 5th, so-so. So, but is there anyone you like? I'm not sure. Maybe in the past. So your life is hellish if there is no one you like. So you have to start liking people because of you. How can I do this? Start seeing them differently. Start seeing them as very dear to Krishna. Maybe they're not dear to you, but they're dear to Krishna, to Prabhupada. Okay. This devotee that I don't like is dear to Krishna. Prabhu, can I do something for you? Akrura said, to serve people we don't like, people we like. So then they see that you're, completely artificial. I'll give you an example. I was teaching one devotee to smile, and he has like a mafioso background. He's from Serbia. This is a famous country. Mataji is from Serbia. I'm also from Serbia. So, and he was going and trying, he has almost criminal background. And he was going to devotees and trying to smile artificially. And devotees, they react differently. But he came to Krishna Kshetra Prabhu and gave him this huge artificial smile. And what do you think he did? Krishna Kshetra Prabhu gave him back the same artificial smile. Because Krishna Kshetra Prabhu can see immediately when you are artificial or genuine. And he came to me running. He said, why are you teaching me this nonsense? Why are you telling me to smile like this? Krishna Kshetra Prabhu ridiculed me. I said, so what will you do? You will go long face and like this, looking at people like this? What are you going to do? How are you going to behave? Better to be artificially kind than naturally horrible. Spontaneously horrible. At least life is a little bit easier. People say, I want to be sincere. I want to sincerely tell you, Radha Kripa, everything that is bad about you. Is that sincere? No. This is rascal. Mascalzone is a rascal in Italian. I learned it. So they say calzone is a pizza, and I say so mascalzone means a man who likes to eat pizza. This is rascaldom to think like that. So Prabhupada said imitation of a good thing is a good thing. So at least we can try to be nice on the outside, but gradually also that feeling develops. Please get up once again. I tell you how, just by changing the way you, your position, your bodily position, how you feel differently. Raise your hands like this. Try as hard as you can to be frustrated. Very difficult. Gently, Swami step. Try even harder to be frustrated. How does it go? Very, very difficult. Try chanting softly Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Try as even harder to be frustrated. Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Thank you. So simply by raising our hands, and this didn't come from any New Age book or coaching book, this is coming from the altar, you change the way you feel. Simply by raising your hands. Yeah. But we rather go to a psychiatrist and pay large amounts of money and lament about the past. And he listens and takes money. Says a few things. Take this medicine or something, this tablet. It will pacify your nerves. But Krishna has given us such a simple process. So, in the community we try to be nice. Smile, Hare Krishna. How are you doing? But gradually we start to feel, but actually it's nice to smile to people. It's nice to, because they smile back. I have experience in ISKCON, devotees whom I was talking to several times, I know them, they know me, they even sometimes said they like me. Haribol just doesn't see me. I mean, it's in the corridor, there is nobody there, and I'm passing. And I asked one devotee, what should I do? Should I ignore them? Because I'm very good at ignoring. I have a PhD from the past. He said, no, Vaishnava, he doesn't do. You continue saying Haribol, and Krishna will be pleased with you, even if they don't respond. So this is what I'm doing still. Very nice advice. This devotee is like 20 years younger than me, or whatever. But his conclusion is, I think, very, very healthy. So the attempt to do something good is good already. Just the attempt. And whether it's artificial or not doesn't matter, just practice and it will become natural. Giving, like I say, start giving, like this ashes story. What shall I give? Well, give something you don't need. At the manor, I'm joking, they bring old saris and old dhotis, and I give class and I say, well, it's easy to bring the old sari and old dhoti and think I'm a great charity giver. Why don't you bring a silk dhoti? Why don't bring the golden necklace for the deities? You keep it for your family. And when you die, why don't you give it to Krishna? So, but it's not so difficult. But people even don't want to give what they don't need. They have full closets of clothes. They never. So maybe for the future. And you're already 65. Maybe I will need it. You will never need it because you are too fat now. Yes.
Can you give me an example for making an attempt to do something artificial and it becomes natural?
Like smile.
But any other examples?
Giving. You don't want to give me a sweet, and you shouldn't because I don't need sweets. But but you say, well, let me try to give him a sweet, because maybe Krishna will be pleased, giving prasadam to all living entities. I'm not saying personally, but for example, you don't like me so much. It's just an example. That you don't even consider me a human being. So you can give a piece of prasadam to all living entities. So I don't know which species I belong to, but give prasadam to all living entities. And see whether Krishna responds and whether he is pleased. Giving. I was so fired up in Poland, I gave a class about giving. And I was speaking about my iPod. And I was saying, well, I get attached to my iPod, and maybe one day Krishna will test me, can I give it in charity? And I was speaking about this iPod, and this is not a very fancy iPod, it was 5-6 years ago, but at that time this iPod was something, a little bit. Now iPods are like, I will tell you what happened, I have another iPod now. So, and I thought, wow, I spoke so much about giving, and I didn't even plan to speak so much, and I think this is really interesting, because, you know, I hope people get inspired to start giving. And one devotee after the class came, said, Prabhu, you still have this iPod? So his conclusion from the class was that he can get an iPod. But I already gave it away 2 days ago to one devotee who impressed me by something. So how do we understand this giving? And how, if you start giving something you don't need, but you develop a taste for giving, then you can start giving and go to the Bhagavatam verse which says that Krishna is most pleased when you give something that is most dear to you.
But you have to be aware that you want to change it actually.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if it's just maintaining artificial, it's not changing.
It's done with, it's calculated. It's done with great intelligence.
Yeah.
And your calculation is, I want to please Krishna. That's the best calculation. So you don't even care about me, you know? You don't even care about me, you want to please Krishna. Of course, later on maybe you will care about me a little bit, because you see that I'm maybe not so bad. But at the beginning we don't know who people are and how they will react. Maybe they harmed us in the past. But we want to show God that I respect your part and parcel here. And He is in their heart. Maybe somebody else wants to give an example of something artificial that becomes natural? Yeah?
Well, Srila Prabhupada said that you might not want to dance, or did he say pay obeisances? He said you might not want to do certain acts, like bowing down, or I think he said dancing, I can't remember which one. But he said if you do it anyway, as a kind of practice, then it'll develop. I think it was dancing.
Yeah, I believe he said it for both.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's a wonderful example. He encourages, Prabhupada encourages, do things that you don't feel like, but still do them because they are right thing to do, and then gradually...
But the intention is afterwards you want to like it. For example, I don't like reading, it's an example. So then I start reading and it becomes natural that I like it. And the intention has to be, I want to like it.
Yeah. Yes. That's ideal. That's already very intelligent. I want to like something. So we educate.
It's an investigation.
Investigation?
It's an investigation of doing something what you don't like. You do it.
Investigation?
Research.
Research. Like exploration,
Einsatz.
trial.
Man setzt sich ein dafür.
Endeavor.
An endeavor.
Oh, investment.
No, it's an endeavor.
Endeavor.
Sorry.
Endeavor. Yeah. Every Krishna says one who does good is never overcome by evil. So it's always good to do something good. To invest. Like relationships, also very important in community building is relationships. And in relationships you always either invest or you withdraw. If I insult you, it's a withdrawal. If I support you, I say something encouraging, it's an investment. If I keep my promises, it's an investment. If I don't keep my promises, it's a withdrawal. So how much you have in a bank account? If I have a great bank account with Rupa Prabhu and I insult him by accident, then he said, that's a small thing, you and I, we love each other, or we trust each other so much. You have saved my life 10 times in the past, or vice versa. And then, you can make a mistake. But with some people you're walking on eggshells. You're very careful not to offend them, you always offend them. Even little thing, even little look, oh, he hates me. I knew that you hate me, because you look at me like this. Well, no, I haven't, I have a toothache, I have a headache, I have an earache. I didn't even look at you, I was just looking through you. Yeah. So and that's by serving others, by giving, by supporting others, we invest. And then later on, you can actually challenge each other. To me, quality friendship is, we can say, okay, what are you going to do about your goals, Prabhu? Your goals. I didn't impose them on you. Well, my goal was to listen to the Maha Mantra every morning, but somehow I don't. For how long? Well, since I've started practicing this last 3 months, my japa excellence table is not very good. It says, how many rounds have you heard? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So what are you going to do about it? I don't know, I'm going to try. Well, don't try, either do it or don't. Trying means take responsibility yourself. T-R-Y. And then you can challenge me, I challenge you, and we help each other grow and stretch and advance in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, we can always pat each other on the back. Oh, you're so nice. Mwah! Let me hug you. You're so wonderful. You're in Maya, but you're so wonderful. And that's okay. That should always be there. But then the higher level is, okay, let's challenge each other. With permission. Okay, any other questions and comments, and we can wrap up for today? You look a little bit intrigued, so I have hopes for tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. So it's a little bit hot here. Any comments? Do you think this will be a little bit useful, maybe for you? No.
Are you gonna make any offers to pay us if we attend tomorrow?
Well, I still didn't come to such a high level to pay for the courses. I pay for the coaching sessions. Nominal price.
So they have to come to Italy?
No. You come to my room. But you have to be very ready for coaching. There is 9 questions that you have to go through. It's called, are you ready for coaching? So if you're ready, then you can have a session and get paid. Maybe I'll pay you in some natural products, like fruit. Yes?
I thought it's not such a... I mean, it's maybe quite a westernized idea about when you have done a profession and then you get paid. But from the other side, a doctor or a psychiatrist or whatever, they always benefit of the clients, you know. So actually, I always thought they have to pay the clients. So it is that idea, because the person who coaches is also benefiting. It's a win-win. It's always a win-win exchange, no? So
that's what I think I want to talk about.
That is the point. Yeah. That is really the point. And that spoils a lot, you know, because of giving the statement or like insurance and stuff like that. They are giving the support that a certain qualification has to be paid, which is not proper.
But
it is valuated. It is valuated. But
this probably you cannot establish it as something. Maybe we will see if it works, how it works. But
there's this political system like communism. No? They had this idea everybody has the same income and everybody has the same. I mean.
Well, this is not a communism.
No, what is it
what I'm trying to illustrate with this, that thank you for allowing me to serve you. By serving you, I believe I'm pleasing God. By pleasing God, I'm benefiting the most. So basically, by serving you, I'm benefiting so much that I feel like paying you. Now coaches have different philosophy. They say if people don't pay you, then don't value your help. And they, like people, then don't commit to do action if they don't pay me for coaching.
But we should have this voluntary within us. The idea of to be paid or to get paid or want to pay, it's rather voluntary.
Who? The coach or the coached?
Both sides.
Yeah. Well, people reciprocate. People reciprocate. They, when the way I was before, I was saying that they say, how much do you charge for coaching, like personal coaching? I say, I don't charge, but if you find value in coaching, you can give me a donation. It doesn't have to be even money. It can be something else, an orange or whatever. But I don't have to even say about reciprocation, because devotees naturally, they are good people. They naturally want to reciprocate. And if they don't have anything, that doesn't matter. They can say Haribol or thank you or whatever. So, but the other people allow you to serve them. It is a favor, actually. And that's I originally this idea didn't come from that platform. When this devotee told me about marketing like that. So gratitude should be felt for the opportunity to serve. That I think if we develop that mentality in the community, it will really bloom and grow, and people will be rushing. Like in Chapati, I think they're sometimes rushing who will serve more each other and things like that. And that it really changes the whole atmosphere. Okay, so we will end here with a short kirtan, if you don't mind. Is that okay? Krishna Voila, thank you. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow, 6:30.